Imagine looking at a powerhouse roster built for a deep January run and realizing that some of your favorite players might not even make it to the kickoff of Week 1. Football is a brutal, cold-blooded business, and General Manager Ryan Poles is trying to construct a masterpiece in the Windy City. But to get this franchise over the hump and under the bright lights of the postseason, some agonizingly tough decisions are looming on the horizon. We are talking about jaw-dropping, roster-shaking trades that nobody is actively rooting for, but everyone needs to brace themselves to face. These are 5 shocking trade candidates who could pack their bags and vanish from the lakefront before the regular season even fires up. If you love deep-dive football breakdowns and want to stay ahead of every single massive roster move this season, go ahead and smash that like button, share this video with your fellow diehard fans, and hit that subscribe button right now. Could a homegrown, fan-favorite defensive anchor really be sent packing just to shave some extra dollars off the salary cap? It sounds completely insane on the surface, but let's talk about veteran linebacker T.J. Edwards. The entire defensive coaching philosophy this offseason has hammered home 2 specific words over and over again: speed and athleticism. While Edwards is an absolute warrior and an unquestioned emotional leader in that locker room, pure, explosive sideline-to-sideline speed isn't exactly the focal point of his game, especially as he works his way back from a fractured fibula. If young bucks like DeMarco Jackson or explosive flying athletes like Devin Bush absolutely catch fire during training camp and prove they fit the defensive vision perfectly, the front office is going to have a fascinating situation on its hands. There are plenty of hungry teams around the league absolutely desperate for reliable linebacker help who would jump at the chance to trade for a proven commodity. From a financial perspective, moving on from the veteran defender frees up a staggering $8.5 million in cap space. If the front office decides it needs to make a late summer splash to sign a premium elite pass rusher to solidify the front four, that freed up cash becomes an absolute golden ticket. With stellar depth pieces like Jack Sanborn, Kayshawn Elliott, and Ruben Hippolyte waiting in the wings, the position group is suddenly overflowing with viable options. It takes 2 teams to negotiate a blockbuster deal, and nobody should expect this move to happen today, but the training camp battle in the linebacker room is going to be an absolute pressure cooker. Let us shift our focus over to the offensive side of the ball for a deeper cut that could completely rewrite the protection scheme for our franchise quarterback. Earlier this offseason, the front office made a calculated veteran move by trading for center Garrett Bradbury to stabilize the interior line following the sudden retirement of Drew Dolman. It felt like a safe, secure insurance policy at the time. But what happens if rookie center Logan Jones hits the ground running and completely blows the coaching staff away in preseason? Jones comes into the league with over 50 career college starts under his belt and possesses an elite football IQ. If he builds an instant, seamless on-field chemistry with Caleb Williams, the coaching staff might decide against throwing a temporary 1-year Band-Aid out on the field. The goal is to build a decade-long dynasty, not to force our young franchise quarterback to learn a brand new center's cadence for the 4th consecutive year. Time for our official question of the day, so I want every single one of you to drop down to the comments section below and let your voice be heard. If an aggressive team calls up offering a premium draft pick for our young backup quarterback Tyson Bagent, what is the absolute minimum round draft selection it would take for you to pull the trigger and trade him away? Tell me the exact round you want in return down below. Rumors are already circulating that center-needy organizations like the Baltimore Ravens are actively sniffing around the trade market after completely striking out at the position during the draft. Trading a veteran like Bradbury instantly clears up nearly $4.7 million in crucial cap space, but the front office has to protect its own assets first. Remember, the team surrendered a 2027 fifth-round draft pick to acquire him in the first place. Trading him away for anything less than that exact value before he ever takes a single meaningful snap on game day would be a terrible look for management. If a backup option like Luke Newman proves he can handle the secondary center duties, a trade becomes highly logical. But if the return value isn't there, keeping a top-tier veteran backup on the bench is an incredible luxury to have. Now, let's look at a true long-shot scenario that would completely shock the entire fan base, involving defensive lineman Dio Dingwa. On paper, trading a player who has registered only a single sack over his last 17 games and is actively trying to recover from a devastating torn Achilles sounds completely impossible. Nobody is buying that contract in a traditional vacuum. However, the executive suites and scouting communities across the league are already completely infatuated with the upcoming 2027 draft class, calling it one of the most loaded groups in recent memory. If our front office can find a creative way to attach a draft asset to Dingboy just to sweep his contract off the books, the franchise would instantly reclaim a massive $16 million in post-June 1st cap space. Imagine packaging Dingboy alongside a third-round selection to land an elite, established edge rusher who is currently disgruntled with his current team. A non-contending squad looking to hoard draft picks for a massive future rebuild would gladly swallow that short-term salary obligation just to secure premium draft capital. It is an unorthodox, outside-the-box business move, but in a league where teams get desperate for financial flexibility, you can never say never. Speaking of positional desperation across the league, we have to look closely at quarterback Tyson Bagent. While the immediate trade chatter surrounding him has quieted down since the draft concluded, history tells us that the landscape changes instantly when the injury bug bites in August. The moment a legitimate championship contender loses their starting quarterback, or a premier backup to a severe training camp injury, panic sets in, and front offices start making frantic phone calls. Bagent is locked into an absolute bargain of a contract, meaning management has zero motivation to just give him away for a mediocre package of late-round picks. It would take a massive, undeniable overpay from a desperate franchise to make management even consider moving him. If a desperate team comes calling with a premium early third-round pick, or perhaps even a second-rounder, the front office would be forced to sit down and evaluate the offer. Trading him would free up $4.25 million, but it leaves the roster in a very interesting spot. Are you truly comfortable going into a championship or bust season with a 38-year-old veteran like Case Keenum as the primary backup to Caleb Williams? Undrafted rookie Miller Moss has shown immense poise, phenomenal pocket processing, and deep system familiarity from his college days, but relying on an unproven rookie or an aging veteran behind a young quarterback is a massive gamble. It would take a historic, desperate offer to move Bagent, but in the wild world of the National Football League, quarterback desperation is a powerful drug. Finally, let's talk about a highly intriguing under-the-radar name to watch on the interior offensive line, Luke Newman. This is a pure numbers game on the back end of the 53-man roster because the interior line depth is completely overflowing with high-end talent. With established superstars like Jonah Jackson and Joe Thuney locking down the starting guard spots, and young players like Jordan McFadden proving they can step up and play winning football in playoff atmospheres, the competition in camp is going to be an absolute bloodbath. The coaching staff also brought in Caden Barnett on a lucrative undrafted free agent deal, signaling they see massive potential in his game. In an ideal world, the staff would love to casually slide Newman onto the practice squad for a developmental season, but a talented young lineman who showed great flashes on the field last year would get instantly poached off waivers by an offensive line-starved team. If other versatile players like Theo Benedict showcase the ability to flex inside and protect multiple positions, Newman could suddenly become the odd man out. If a rival franchise offers a sixth-round pick to replenish the asset used to draft him, the front office might just take the deal rather than losing a talented asset for absolutely nothing. The business of winning football matches is completely unforgiving, and the margin between a good roster and a championship roster comes down to these exact summer calculations. Keep a very close eye on the training camp storylines for TJ Edwards, Garrett Bradbury, Dio Dingboy, Tyson Bagent, and Luke Newman as we march closer to the regular season opener. Thank you all so much for riding along with this deep roster breakdown. Do not forget to hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss a single update as we gear up for a historic season.